Welcome back to Leadership Trailblazers. I'm so glad you're here. It's great to see you. So I'm Lois Burton, executive coach, leadership development specialist with 25 years of coaching leaders across every sector. So today I want to talk about the one quality that consistently separates leaders who move people from those who simply manage them. It's not technical brilliance, not strategic acumen, not even emotional intelligence alone. It's the ability to communicate your vision with genuine passion and authenticity, so that people don't just understand where you're going, they desperately want to come with you. It's not about being a charismatic performer. The most powerful visionary leaders are often quiet and more introverted. What they have is they care deeply, and it can't be contained, and people feel it. And when people feel it, something extraordinary happens. Why is it so important? Why is visionary communication the leadership superpower today? People say things like, I've told my team the strategy. Why isn't that enough? The reason is because telling isn't inspiring. And a strategy document will never move people in the way that somebody human who cares deeply can. And the neuroscience backs this up. You know that I like my neuroscience. Dry information, even if it's delivered verbally, even if it's delivered, in a really bright and visual way, it still only activates the language processing areas of the brain. Passionate, authentic communication activates the emotional centers. They light up, the mirror neurons fire. If anybody's familiar with Uri Hassan's work on neural coupling, what you're actually doing, the listener's brain is synchronizing with the person who's speaking. So you're bringing brains into alignment. People follow leaders who create something that they feel matters, who create something where they can think, I'm part of something meaningful. I'm part of something that somebody believes in. People follow passion. People follow authenticity. What they don't follow, polished performance without substance. They can smell that a mile off. So why don't more leaders communicate this way? I think there's three main reasons. The professionalism trap. A lot of leaders still buy into the message that showing genuine emotion isn't professional. So they sanitize their communication and they make it technically correct, but it's utterly uninspiring. The fear of vulnerability, that showing people that's what something means to you actually can be weakness. People ask themselves the questions, what if they don't share what I care about? What if it sounds naive? And so leaders retreat into a safe professional distance. Thirdly, the gap between private conviction and public expression. Sometimes in coaching, I meet leaders and they are really electrifying about their vision in a one-to-one situation. But then they stand up in a meeting and it just all goes dry and it's completely unrecognizable. So I was working with an MD in a manufacturing setting, and he talked about his vision in the coaching session, and it was inspiring. But then he went to a leadership conference and he texted me at the end of the day and he said it went completely flat, Lois. And what had happened was that the vision had been translated into slide deck language. It had been sanitized, it had been flattened, and therefore the room went flat with it. So I asked him the question, which version of your vision do you want people to follow? And that was the beginning of real transformation. He made this into something personal rather than something corporate. And so this comes into my first tip for you. Know what you genuinely care about and be prepared to say it. Not the corporate version, the personal question. A question I often ask of my coachees is, why does this vision matter to you personally? Many leaders pause much longer than you would imagine. They've focused on the what or the how, but not their personal why. And it might be implicit, but it's something that they haven't connected to for a while. So the why is where the passion lies. It's what makes your eyes light up. It's what people feel is real and genuine, and that is what impacts them. When did you last feel it? That energy, that conviction about the thing that you care about. If you can't access that feeling, you can't create it in anyone else. It's impossible. I worked with a healthcare director Again, electrifying about her vision in coaching, because she talked about specific patients and what the impact on them had been of great ward leadership. She'd seen staff grow. She'd seen what was possible. But she questioned me, oh, can I really say that? Will others feel what I feel? So we talked about, what would this look like if you weren't afraid? And she just said, oh, come on, let's see. And when she communicated her vision in this way, people came up to her afterwards and they told her that was why they joined the NHS. She touched something real and she got something back from the whole room. So a good practice around this is spend unhurried time reconnecting with what you genuinely care about and write it in your language, not the corporate language, and then find some good stories, some real stories, and then trust that that will land well. Second tip, make your vision visible, specific, and human. Passion without clarity is just noise. Vision must also land in the specific and concrete. A common failure pattern is the vision kind of stays in the stratosphere. It's about transformation and excellence and all of those things that sound good. People agree it sounds good, but they have no sense of what it means for them in a tangible way. Great vision communication gives somebody a picture and it lands somewhere that gives them meaning so they understand in terms of what it means for them. There's a beautiful example in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And stay with me because I know this one's been cited so many times, but the reason is it still moves people. So what I want to draw your attention to is not the actual scale. He didn't say, I have a dream of racial equality. He said, I have a dream that on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together in brotherhood. Specific, visual, human. And as I said, it still moves people 60 years later. So ask yourself, what does your vision look like in a specific moment? Who's there? What are they doing? What are they saying? How has that changed things for them? A really simple story from a coachee, a financial services director, wanted to transform their customer relations because they'd had a lot of complaints, which financial services often do. And his description to his team, I want a customer who rings us up really worried, getting off the phone, feeling that someone's got their back. And that one sentence became the North Star for 18 months of work. And how he built on that was he found stories of where it had worked, the feedback they'd had from customers. So find those stories as well, because that isn't just decoration. That's the vehicle for the vision, and that's what keeps it going. So stories of moments where the values were already alive, stories of moments, impact already seen. And when you start telling those stories, people stop listening from their head and start listening from their heart. That's when a vision becomes real. That's when a vision becomes movement. Tip 3, let your caring show. Visibly, consistently, and courageously. It's the one leaders resist most, and it's the most important. Passion and authenticity are not events. They're not a communication style for a town hall event or a big conference. They're a way of being. People can tell the difference between someone who lives the vision and someone who performs it. The most powerful visionary leader is exactly the same in the big event, in the boardroom, in the team meeting, and in a one-to-one conversation. Scale changes, language adapts, but the underlying passion and care are consistent. And that consistent is communication. It's saying, I'm not performing this is real. And it does take courage. Being willing to show excitement in a culture where that's the norm, or being willing to share sorrow in a culture where that's not the norm. Saying, I need to tell you why this matters personally, and then actually saying it. Responding to setbacks with actual conviction, genuine conviction, and visible emotion that you'll find a way through. A senior director that I worked with in the criminal justice sector, and the criminal justice sector is a culture where people do build protective, professional shells. And this person had built theirs over years. Underneath, there was somebody who really cared at depth, but it was completely invisible to his team members. So, and we talked about small concrete steps because he said he wanted people to understand that he genuinely cared. And so he started ending conversations, monthly communications with personal reflection, not just data. And he shared what he was feeling about the work, not just what was happening. 3 months in, team member told him, unprompted, they finally understood what they were all in this for. They said, I could feel your belief in the work, and it makes me want to be better. That's the power, not weakness, the most human, the most powerful leadership act there is. So let's do a quick recap. Tip 1, know what you genuinely care about. Say the real version, not the corporate version. Tip 2, make your vision vivid, specific, and human. Give people a picture and a story. Tip 3, let your caring show. Visibly, consistently, and courageously every day. Your challenge, think about the last time you communicated your vision. Did they feel what you feel? Could they see what you see? Did they hear the real you? If the answer gives you pause for thought, you're at your learning edge. You don't need a personality transplant. Just trust that what you genuinely care about is important to other people and worth saying out loud. Your people are hungry for a leader who will say it. Leaders who shape what comes next show up with their whole selves, vision and passion, everything. So thank you again for being here today. I'm very glad you're here. I'm very glad that you are already sharing. So if this episode resonated, please share it on. If you want to have a look and have some more conversations about deeper work on an authentic leadership voice, find me on LinkedIn and loisburtononline.com. Until then, until next time, keep trailblazing.